codex.
The little codex thing. Yeah. So tonight we watched Joe.
I don't know who I am, but I know what keeps me alive, keeps me out of jail.
He means Joe 2249.
Joe 2249. That's a reference if you've seen the movie.
Otherwise known as Blade Runner 2249.
Yes.
Every civilization was built off the back of a disposable workforce. But I can only make so many. Happy birthday.
Yep.
Blade Runner 2049, starring Ryan Gosling.
2049 or 2249?
2049.
Oh, 200 years? That just doesn't matter.
We'll catch up to this one too, like we're about to catch up to 2019 from the original Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So, and then, we won't be on off-world. At least the planet hasn't gone to shit like in these movies. But
yeah, we're keeping a little better control.
Yeah.
We at least have plans.
Right. What did you think of this? What did you think of this movie?
It was a long run time. It's 2 hours and 43 minutes, which is long, but it had okay pacing.
I liked how slow it was.
You did?
I was.
It's like the original. The original is slow too.
Yeah, very slow.
More characters and story than anything.
Well, more characters and visuals.
Yeah.
Like there was more story in this one. The original has like this thin plot line that kind of drags you along, but
this one it had a mission.
Yeah, there was actually like a plot.
He had set out something to do and he did it. And the visuals were, like I said, they were really awesome. Like there was some really cool overhead shots of the environment and just showing how lived in this world is.
Yeah.
It was really dirty and devoid of life.
Right.
It opens up with him going to the desert. This windstorm.
I like the contrasting idea of these, like in the beginning, those solar farms.
Yeah.
In a world where it's constantly overcast.
Yeah.
That's kind of oh, I see what you're doing. And then the whole farming for protein and Dave Bautista's raising grubs in that fucking nasty water. The whole opening I really enjoyed. That.
Yeah. That was probably the biggest action of the movie is the opening.
Yes. Yeah.
He opens up. We didn't even mention Ryan Gosling as the star of this. He's the Blade Runner. You probably already know that.
Yeah.
He's the star of the show.
He's on a routine mission to go eliminate one of the Nexus 8 models.
The older models of the replicants.
And he goes there, and actually the scene is very reminiscent of a scene that was supposed to be in the original Blade Runner, where he goes to a farm and executes one of the guys, or Deckard was supposed to, which Deckard is Harrison Ford's character from the original. And it just kind of got you into the movie, and I like how they used it in this one to kind of get you back into the world, because I'm sure a lot of, it's been 30 years since the original, so I'm sure a lot of people haven't really
rewatched it.
Yeah, I mean, some have, but it's not like Star Wars or anything where it's massively popular.
You can sit down and watch every day.
Yeah.
It's not it doesn't have that appeal.
Either you like it or you don't, the original. But this one, visually it was good, but visually it was a little less interesting than the original. But Blade Runner 2049 seemed to have a little more story and a little more character to it, so that was kind of the contrast.
Visuals did what it needed to do. It showed the world how it is.
Oh yeah.
A lot of these sci-fi movies will brighten up a lot of the stuff to make it look more appealing. But you had some of the city shots which showed some holograms and stuff, but it was nasty.
Yeah, it's
dust going everywhere.
Yeah.
Rain, acid rain.
Right.
And everybody was just depressed. Everybody's walking through the streets. Just.
This one I think we had talked about felt a little more isolated. It seemed, like you said, a little bit more devoid of life.
Yeah.
In the original, there's this overpopulation kind of theme going on. There's this claustrophobic chase through the middle of the city as Deckard's trying to kill a replicant.
I think they've all died. Most of the population has died off since
I think so.
This planet's went to shit in those 30 years or whatever.
Well, there was this whole thing about the blackout. Some sort of blackout occurred and got rid of all the technology for however long. So that probably led to something bad.
Tell either side there's no wall. You bought a war.
You're a cop. I had your job once. I was good at it.
Ryan Gosling. What did you think about Ryan Gosling's performance in this?
If you've seen Drive, he plays kind of like a brooding hero in this.
Mm-hmm.
Which, we're going to go ahead and say spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling is a replicant. You're going to find that out in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a replicant hunting replicant. He's one of the new versions of replicants who obeys everything that his masters have to say.
Yeah, it's like they're outsourcing the Blade Runner unit to replicants, which, I mean, he might be the only one that they're doing that with, but it's kind of an interesting idea that they have a replicant hunting replicants.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, it's kind of like, well, why not? Why wouldn't you build them to hunt their own kind?
Because they're stronger, they can actually keep up with the replicants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, he's kind of like moody and kind of like to himself.
Yeah.
But he's also really stuck in his ideas. He's wanting to follow orders and do whatever he can to kill these replicants.
I mean, for someone that's supposed to be like a robot, essentially, he's pretty relatable. Like,
yeah, he is.
You know, that has that whole sequence where he goes home and he has like this holographic wife or girlfriend, whatever she is. And to me, that was my favorite part. Like, their interactions and just kind of... I almost wanted a whole movie of just them, like some sort of...
You get to see more of the human side of him.
Yeah, and that was nice. It reminded me a lot of Her, that movie where Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with the operating system.
Yeah, it did. Exactly.
Like, and it had a good string like this. So
that was a really cool part. That really kind of brought you back into the movie after these long stretches of him just flying around the city and not really any dialogue. And you come back to this apartment and it's all bright and she's happy dancing around, and I like that was some of the different contrasts in the movie.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, a lot of long shots of just him kind of like looking at stuff.
Him just like looking at the sky or flying around.
Yeah. And there's like a whole mystery through the whole thing of oh god, how do we even get into this? So a replicant apparently had a kid, and there's a whole mystery of him finding out who this child is, this child of the replicants, and we've already said spoilers, so there's a whole thing of, was it him, was he the kid, and they kind of...
Because he has this memory
that
he's had since a child, and there's a scene with him and like the head of the Blade Runners. Mm-hmm. She said, oh, all these memories aren't yours, they're implanted.
Yeah.
So he's thinking it's implanted, but then he goes to this place in Los Angeles. Where the scene of the memory happened.
Right.
And he finds this wooden horse that he hid when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm. Or so that he thinks he hid.
It was his memory.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's the child.
Right.
Now he's out to find how he got hidden and who hid him.
And everything that happened.
Yeah. So most of the movie is him just trying to find that mystery out. Yeah. And he's supposed to be eliminating that child.
Right. And the whole time you're like, well, is it him? Is it not him? Who is this child? And I feel like it wrapped up pretty well, I would say. But I mean, the plot's good, but at the same time you're kind of there for the visuals and like just getting immersed into this world that is Blade Runner.
Yeah.
All the performances, I would say, were pretty good. Harrison Ford actually looked like he cared, you know?
Yeah. You don't see Harrison Ford for probably 2 hours.
Yeah, he's definitely like...
I was waiting for him. I was like, Thomas, where's Harrison Ford? They go to Vegas, and he's trying to figure out how Harrison Ford is connected to all this.
Yeah. He, like, learns about Deckard and Rachel, which was a replicant in the first one, like, their whole relationship and running away and all that, and he finally tracks him down and is like just trying to figure out what went on between them.
The scene with them two when he first comes, they get this kind of battle and struggle. Like Harrison Ford thinks the Blade Runners are kind of finally coming to kill him, and he gets shot. Gosling gets shot a few times. And
I like that where they're in the performance room and like the holograms are like the sounds cutting in and out, and, like the lights coming and everything. That was kind of neat.
Yeah.
And then they just sit down and have a drink after that.
Yeah.
Which was a good part. Harrison Ford was probably the only source of comedy in this, I would say.
Definitely not Ryan Gosling. He was dull.
Which he was, yeah. I don't know if I'd say dull, but he was more serious.
Yeah.
So you didn't need him to be cracking jokes or anything like that. The one person that kind of took me out of it was Jared Leto.
Yeah.
He plays Wallace, the CEO. I guess they took over after, like, the Tyrell Corporation goes bankrupt, which made the replicants in the first one. So this Wallace Corporation comes in,
Makes better replicants.
yeah, and he was like,
Good thing you didn't see him a lot.
yeah, he was just like spouting off nonsense all the time, and I was like,
Like prophecies and shit.
yeah, just why couldn't he just be like a corrupt businessman that wanted to make money? But I guess it makes sense that he's trying to perfect all this crap. I don't know, like
He's not. Don't move or don't not watch it because Jared Leto's
right.
He's barely in it.
Yeah, he only has a couple of scenes, and you can kind of like, if you have to go to the bathroom, maybe go to the
That's the
bathroom
sign,
during the
yeah.
Jared Leto scenes. His assistant girl, the little replicant assassin, whatever, she was really good. Like, I liked her.
The
a lot.
X-23 girl.
I guess, yeah. The one that like chases down Ryan Gosling. I liked her a lot.
She's like monitoring Ryan Gosling the whole time too. Like she's,
Yeah.
At one point he goes and lands, and all these like nomad people come and attack him and pull his hovercraft down. And she like nukes her.
She's just like shooting
She's,
missiles
like,
at him
strikes
from
missiles
something.
down from the sky.
Yeah.
That was a cool part.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like the stuff outside of Los Angeles, because in the first one you see a lot of Los Angeles, so this one we got to see like Las Vegas, and then like the outskirts of the city, how it's just like this giant junkyard.
Trash yard.
Yeah.
Just giant machine just dumping scrap metal. There's people living out there.
Yeah.
Kind of had like a Mad Max feel to it.
It did, yeah. Like the
Dirty people.
yeah, dirty nomad people living in the scrap.
Yeah.
Order to things. That's what we do here. We keep order.
What about that part where Dave Bautista farted and it blew up his house?
That was the best.
That was the best. A lot of farts in this movie.
Replicant farts are just strong.
A lot of methane, a lot of compressed gas.
Eats all those grubs.
And all that garlic.
Protein farts.
I made this garlic just for me, and I'm gonna simmer it on a pot.
You never saw what was in that pot.
I know! For some reason I thought it was full of eyeballs. Or
Yeah.
beans. Probably beans.
Probably grub worms.
But I guess it was I guess so.
Is that what they eat in the future?
Yeah, that's their source of protein.
What was Ryan Gosling eating?
When?
Remember, like he made that
Oh,
meal.
It was like a bowl of eels or something.
And then like she brought like a fake hologram like burger and fries over.
Yeah, and he's eating like shit in a bowl.
Yeah.
Or what about the little I am the captain now guy from what the fuck was that movie? Captain Phillips?
He's as skinny as ever.
Yeah, he's like eating potato chips. He's like, oh, you gotta go to where it's all nuclear, or whatever.
It's like, this is real wood. You can get a real horse for this.
I get you a horse, I get you a goat, what do you want? And he's like eating fucking Lay's.
I can get you off-world planet papers.
They made a big deal about him getting cast in this, and he has like a 5-second part.
I almost forgot about him.
Yeah. I want to be like, that's the captain guy from the fucking Somali pirate movie.
Captain now.
Yeah. I am the Blade Runner now.
I am the replicant now.
That's what he should have said.
What he did. No, this is a different movie. Beachmon, come on.
You gotta tone it down.
The key to the future is finally unearthed.
Bring it to me.
I would say, like I said, one of my favorite things was Ryan Gosling's interaction with, I wish I knew the name of the lady that played like his hologram wife. Like their stuff, and then there's a part where she orders like a prostitute and kind of like syncs up with her so they can like be intimate together, and that was like interesting and weird.
I've never
like,
seen that before.
Yeah, like
It's like whenever the lady would move, she would sync her movements up with it, and so like she was
Yeah.
overlaid on top of her skin. So it's acted like he acted like he was having sex with her, but it was actually the prostitute. It was cool.
I liked that a lot. It really kind of drove home Ryan Gosling's character and kind of him just struggling to connect with somebody.
Yeah.
Do you have any negatives for this?
The music wasn't great.
Yeah.
It was kind of just a bunch of like big overtones and big chorus just
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of score, which kind of draws the movie out longer, I feel. You never have any of these upbeat moments that bring you back into the film. It's just, I mean, I passed out a few times. I fell asleep a few times just because it was these just long, drawn-out scenes.
Yeah.
That you just...
Well, and there were times where it's just completely silent.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Him just walking.
Is there going to be anything? You know?
But at some points, that part, those connect, those scenes.
Right.
Those score scenes.
Yeah. And, I mean, the score from the first one is really, like, angelic, I would almost say. It's very prominent. Like, the score from it is very recognizable, and it, like, the guy that made it, that scored the original Blade Runner, like, was, I would say, almost insane. But it's really good music, and it really fits the movie and gives it some personality. And this one didn't quite reach that level with score-wise, like you're talking about.
And it was a little too long. I could have done 2 hours and 15 minutes instead of 2 hours and 40.
We didn't need to see Ryan Gosling stare for like 30 minutes altogether.
Yes.
But
yeah.
I like the pacing of it. It was very slow, and it didn't need to be fast. It didn't need to be action-packed. Like, there was a little bit sprinkled here and there, but you're there for the character and the atmosphere and the look and the style and everything. So that was kind of nice.
Who's the lady who played Madame, the leader of the...
Robin Wright.
She was good.
Yeah, she was good.
She kind of had that connection with him, like...
There was that weird scene where she wanted to fuck him.
Yeah.
A little bit, and then it just kind of went away, and then like his wife was apparently listening to that little hologram lady, and she was like, "Oh, you didn't want to fuck your boss?" And it was like, "Oh, that's kind of weird."
She asked, "What would happen if I finished this drink or something?"
Yeah. And Ryan Gosling's like, "I don't know.
Guess you'll go home."
I gotta get back to work. I gotta get out of here.
No, you don't. You're off.
That's an order. Take your pants off. No, I'm gonna rebel.
That's the last straw.
I would say I'd recommend this movie. I was a little worried watching some of the trailers leading up to it, but if you're a sci-fi fan, I would recommend it because it kind of goes back.
If you're looking for Guardians of the Galaxy or
Right.
Star Trek, don't watch this.
Yeah,
this is more like
this is a little heavier and slower pace, slow burner kind of thing.
What would you compare it to, like a recent movie?
Well, the guy that made this made Arrival, so I would kind of say it's on that level. Like it's slow and it's gonna take its time, and
sort of like Ghost in the Shell. The Ghost in the Shell has a little more action.
Yeah, and this to me was more interesting than Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah,
this actually dealt with Ghost in the Shell
in a better way.
material than Ghost in the Shell did. Like, what does it mean to be human? And
yeah.
I kind of like that stuff. You know, Ryan Gosling just being a replicant, trying, am I human? And he thinks he is, or he thinks he's like this
miracle child.
Yeah, and it turns out he's, well, okay. We won't get into that. Just go watch the movie. It was good. I was satisfied with what I saw.
Yeah, I was satisfied.
Yeah.